Hey family, what's up? This is Pastor Cal, your relationship expert. Listen, I've been getting so many questions from you guys. Thank you so much for sending them in. Keep them coming. Quite often people ask me for individual counseling. I can't do it. Just can't do it all. So what we're doing on this YouTube channel is we're answering your questions. So send your questions in, okay? Because believe it or not, these questions help a lot of people. I got a particular question, and that question is, how can a husband and wife come together and unite to handle forceful or strong-willed in-laws? Great question. I love to talk about in-laws, okay? I believe that that's something that a lot of couples deal with. And so we're gonna deal with it, okay? You ready? Let's go. Now, there are three things that I want to share with you, okay, when it relates to in-laws. First of all, understand that your in-laws are not your spouses. They're not your husband, they're not your wife. They're not a part of your marriage. They're a part of your family, your extended family at that. They got in your family by law, in-law, okay? But they're not your husband and they're not your wife. Number one, remember that. Your in-laws are not your spouse. Because of that, number two, don't share personal information with them. When you share your personal information with your mom or with your dad or what have you, let's say if you're arguing or you have some issue going on in your marriage or something that you want to talk to them about it, or you got angry and just on a whim you called and you're fussing about your spouse to your mom or to your dad, understand something. More often than not, now there are exceptions to every rule, but more often than not, that parent is going to be on your side more so than your spouse. What happens is that you, though, will go ahead, you'll make up, you'll be happy, you'll be great, you'll make up with your spouse and you guys will be just wonderful. What happened to your parent? They are still remembering the issue that you had. I like to say that that issue is locked in time to them. You must learn to resolve your issues within your marriage. In-laws are not capable in most cases. Thank God for those who are capable, but in most cases, in-laws are not, they just can't, they're not the best way to handle your issues, okay? Handle them in your marriage first. First of all, they're not your husband and your wife. Don't share personal information. And the third point I want to share with you, which I'm glad this question brought out, is that you got to be united in confronting them. So the question was, how do we unite to confront forceful in-laws? Now, if you're having trouble uniting to confront these in-laws, there's a problem. Is it because either the husband or the wife doesn't think the in-laws are wrong in their assertions, or are the in-laws just bogarting in your relationship irrespective of what the both of you want? Let's talk about both of those. If the first one is true, and the husband or the wife, you can't unite because the husband or the wife feels as though the in-laws may be justified in their intrusions, or they may be cool with what their in-laws are doing. If that's the case, there has to be a serious discussion. And that spouse needs to understand that the husband, the wife comes first. Period. My wife and I like to believe it's always us against everybody. Us against the kids, us against the in-laws. The husband, the wife comes first. So if a spouse is giving more attention or leaning more towards the in-law than towards their spouse, that has to stop. There must be a discussion about that, and you have to honestly and openly tell your spouse how much it hurts you to see them take the side of their mom or their dad more so than your side. And you, as the person who's doing that, you gotta listen. If you value your marriage, you gotta listen to that. Okay. Secondly, if your in-laws are forcefully giving their opinion or what have you, irrespective of what you do, you guys, there's no how do we unite. You just have to come together and agree, look, we're going to separate from you. If you can't listen to us, if you can't do what we say do, because this is our marriage and not yours, you're not a part of our marriage, you're part of our family, you're not my spouse, you're not my husband, you're not my wife, If you can't listen to what we're doing, if you're going to force yourself upon us, we're going to have to separate ourselves from you. We're going to have to move away from you for a while. We're going to have to X you out of our lives for a while. Why? Because it's important for the husband and the wife to first establish their home before letting other people come in and influence what that home shall be. How do you unite to basically handle these in-laws? You have to understand that your marriage comes first. In-laws will understand when they see that you are taking a stand. Remember, no parents, no in-laws should have that much power over your relationship where they are controlling you and telling you how to live it. There are instances where in-laws can be of a big help. They can be of a help if you go to them and they're not forcing themselves on you. Sometimes in-laws can be of help. I've had situations where in-laws have actually come in and been very objective and actually been a help to a marriage, okay? But generally, you must take care of your situation yourself. Unless you're talking to a professional counselor or unless you're talking to someone who has some sort of expertise in relationships, handle your own situation. If you are buckling every chance you get and you're allowing them to come in and run over your marriage just roughshod, they're going to do it. There's an old saying which says, a man can't ride your back unless it's bent. If they are bogarting into your marriage, it's because you're letting them. Nobody, and I mean nobody, bogarts into my marriage. It is my marriage. It is my wife's marriage. We're in charge of this thing. And nobody has a right to tell us how to handle it and how to be married, okay? I hope you got it. All right, look guys, I am so glad that you guys have tuned in. I want you to subscribe. Please tell friends about this YouTube channel. We're answering questions, man, so keep sending them in because we got answers, okay? And remember, if you can change your perspective, I believe you can change your whole life. Take care.